Hello, and welcome to another episode of How Do You Do That? And today, we're going to be talking about how to multiply with unit fractions. And so that is going to be our focus. Well, let's get started. The first thing that you need to understand as we go back through our math is, well, what is a unit fraction? And as we've talked about before, is that unit fractions are any fraction with a 1 in the numerator spot. So for instance, 1/3 could be unit fraction because it is 1 unit in the numerator. 1 unit in the numerator. In the denominator, you can have any number. That's irrelevant. But in the numerator, you always have to have 1. So 1/3 could be unit fraction. 1/5 can be unit fraction. You did 1/972. It's still a unit fraction because it's focused on exactly 1 unit. So, using that kind of concept, we're going to go into, well, how can we multiply by unit fraction? Well, let's take a look at a problem here. So, for instance, what if we had a problem that we were going to run around a path? So, a path around a large park is 8 kilometers. Now, what would happen if you ran around that path 4 times? How far did you run? And so that's going to be our first question as we kind of get set up for today. So the very first thing is, well, let's do this. Let's just make a path. We're going to say, well, this one's 8 kilometers. This one's going to be 8 kilometers. This one's 8 kilometers. This one's 8 kilometers. And if we know that each path was exactly 8 kilometers, then we could come up with some kind of problem here. And what most people recognize right away is like, oh wow, that is 8 times 4. There is 4 groups that each have 8 kilometers in them. So we could then restate this as 8 times 4 equals 32 kilometers. Right? So if you ran around each path, if you ran around the path 4 times, this is this is the first time around. This would be the second time around. This would be the third time around. And the fourth, you ran 8 times 4. Well, what happens if you only ran a quarter way around the path? So what if you have the same path? So on the same path, you run 1/4 of the way. How far did you run? Well, let's get that question out first. So, how far did you run? Now, this is where things get a little bit interesting. So, the very first thing we need to do is create our 8-kilometer path. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so it's a little bit easier to see here. So, we're going to create our path, and we're going to say, okay, well, if this is going to be 8 kilometers around, and we only ran a quarter, let's say a quarter is from here to here. Well, you can't see that very much. It's oftentimes what happens, right, is that we're using the same color. So it's always good to grab a highlighter. So let's just highlight that quarter. We're going to highlight this quarter. There you go. We ran a quarter of the way around the path. Well, what is this? Well, let's focus on it. Well, a couple things we could do is say, well, the total path is 8 kilometers. We know that. That's not changing. But now what happens if you broke this part and half this part? Well, you say, well, this is 4, and this side's 4, right? I'm going to put down here, I'm going to put, this would be 4 kilometers, and this would be 4 kilometers. And you're going to see why I'm not putting it up higher in just a second. Now, what happens if we split that again? Well, as you can see, is that we end up with a quarter of the path here. So, but is this still 4 kilometers? No, because this has now been split in half. So now each quarter, because it's broken into fourths, would be 2 kilometers. So going back to our question, on the same path you run a quarter of the way, how far did you run? Well, we would run 2 kilometers. And that's a way you can do a problem using a picture very quickly that really gets to the point of what you want. So, but what happens if you don't have a picture handy and you still want to do it? Well, there's another way we can do it by using numbers. So our next and final way to answer this question would be like, so what happens if we want to do 1/4 of 8 is really what we want. Well, to do 1/4 of 8, there's a couple steps we can do. First, step 1 is convert this into an equation or a problem that has a symbol. So of is always multiplication. So we're going to link of, and that's going to go right there to our multiplication. Next, 1/4 times 8. Well, I like to turn this 8 into 8 over 1 because we're multiplying 2 fractions. Next step we're going to do, 1 times 8 equals 8. 4 times 1 equals 4. Multiply straight across with our fractions, we get 8/4. 8/4 equals 2. Going back to our original problem, we say that equals 2 kilometers. So how we can do this first is setting it up with some pictures, and then going back through and resetting and then rechecking with some numbers.